gardens. We're sort of in the middle of the garden here in a fairly sunny spot, except that we're underneath this toothache tree, but it has a not very dense canopy. It's with the distinctive bark here. Toothache tree is Xanthoxylum, but we're not looking at that. We're here to look at sweet Cicely. So this is the true sweet Cicely, meaning the European sweet Cicely, Myrrhus odorata. Fairly tall, substantial perennial herb from a taproot. Rather difficult to transplant. You've got to get very young ones. Had it on my bare roots plant list, but we've run out of ones small enough to transplant. It makes big seeds. These are going to turn black. But the reason it's a relatively uncommon herb in America is the seed viability is very short. So if you buy seeds of this, they're probably not going to grow unless you're getting them direct from a source that are fairly freshly harvested. So as you can see, it's a member of the Umbellifer family, or I hope you can see that with the compound umbels. Compound umbel is an umbel of umbels. These umbellifers with the little tiny flowers are thought to be very good for the beneficial wasps, that they can feed on this when they don't have insects to feed on. So people like to plant a lot of these small flowered umbellifers to encourage beneficial insects in their garden. This has quite a tasty leaf with a slightly licorice kind of flavor. You could use a few of these leaves to flavor up a cup of tea. You could mince them and sprinkle them onto a fruit salad. Very pleasant flavor. Okay, so as I said, when the settlers came over to America, they didn't have any Myrrhus odorata. So why waste a perfectly good name like sweet Cicely, which is fun to say? So they applied it to this plant, or these two plants rather. So these are Osmorhiza. There's two of them in the woods here. They are also in the Umbellifer family with compound umbel and tiny flowers with 5 petals and somewhat dissected foliage. So this one is Osmorhiza longistylis, which is better known as anise root. And this one is Osmorhiza claytonii, which is known as sweet Cicely, American sweet Cicely. They're rather hard to tell apart. There are certain distinctions. This one has sort of beaked fruit. You can see that little point. Actually, it's 2 little points at the end of the fruit, meaning the seed. I don't know how well you can see that, but we'll get you a close-up photograph of it at some point. So these are going to be the seeds. They're going to turn black. They're going to get bigger. They're going to stick to your clothes when you walk around in the woods, and that's how they're going to get distributed. The ripe fruit's usually not coming loose until quite late in the summer, as I recall. And this is the other one, sweet Cicely. This one is fairly smooth stemmed. This one is, wait a minute, better not get it backwards. This one is the slightly hairy stem, the anise root. The sweet Cicely has the smooth stem. That's a difference. But this one has a distinctive anise flavored root. It's also called sweet root. This has some potential as a food plant, wild food plant, vegetable. You know, if you grew this as a somewhat cultivated plant, you could get some really good sized roots. It's quite a showy plant, much showier than it ever gets on its own in the woods, both of them really. And I believe this is the one that David Winston, in a paper on Cherokee herbs, claims has tonic properties, maybe even adaptogenic, but definitely a nice edible. Nothing unedible about this one, but this is, it doesn't have the strong sweet anise flavor, which this has. So they're both woodland herbs, rich woods, pretty common, one or the other. Usually in a given location, we either have one species or the other. Yeah, easily grown to about 2.5 feet tall.